Morning Flosstube, it's Sian here, Periwinkle Stitcher, and it is Saturday the 14th of June, and I don't normally film on a Saturday. I'm not sure what happened yesterday, but I've got everything lined up on the ironing board, so I've kind of got to film now and share it all with you. Otherwise I haven't got anything to work on this weekend. Well, that's not true because the cupboard's full of other whips, isn't it? But anyway, it's time to do my monthly update and share with you everything that I've been cross-stitching and embroidering, quilting and shopping for this month. There's an awful lot, so I hope you're going to settle in, grab your stitching and a drink because I think it might be a long one. Right, so where do we start? Well, after my last Flosstube in May, I've been quite busy actually. I've stitched like mad, but also I've done a fair few trips. I went to Monmouth that very first weekend after filming to meet Harriet for breakfast, my oldest daughter who's getting married, and her fiance Cam was captain of a charity rugby match that they were doing for a charity, the Ted Senior Foundation. So I'll put a photograph of the boys. They had a minute's silence for that, for some of their friends that they've lost over the years, and the charity for that is for suicide prevention. So it was a really special day, and they raised lots of money for that, and it was fabulous, you know, a sort of tinge with sadness for the cause, but the day itself was wonderful, and I hope that they raised an awful lot of money. After that then, last weekend, I went on a trip down to Cornwall. Me and Phil went down to Nathan Outlaw's to stay at his guest house in Port Isaac. The weather was really quite cruel. It rained a lot, but we had the most fantastic time. And I was inspired by my friend, Paula, Eva Faith, who's got a Flosstube called Snail Garden, I think. And she, when we went down to the Cowslip studio a couple of months ago, she called into the old post office in Tintagel, which is just the most fantastic old farmhouse built in 1380. So incredibly old, and I've got some wonderful photographs of that. So me and Phil went there, we joined the National Trust, and we actually did 2 properties that last weekend, going round 2 National Trust places in Cornwall, which was so lovely, and we saw just the most amazing old samplers in the old post office. And I actually learned where the phrase left on the shelf, you know, women that don't get married that are on the shelf, that phrase, where that comes from. In the farmhouse, the women used to climb up a ladder onto a wooden shelf to sleep safely away from all the marauding men in the village, and then pull the ladder up, you know, so no one could get up there. So that's where the phrase comes from, and I managed to get a photograph of me up on the shelf in this old cottage. I mean, honestly, 1380, really, seriously. I think it's called the Middle Ages, isn't it? The 1380. Anyway, the ladies there were fabulous, and the samplers on the wall. Please wait and see the photos at the end. So I've had a few trips, but mainly I've been at home stitching this last month. I've done a huge amount of sewing. So without further ado, let me start off by sharing with you my finishes. And the reason I've got a jacket on, even though it's really warm here, is that the first finish is this cute little badge that I sewed called Millie Mouse. And the Millie Mouse brooch was in the chart that I bought last summer. Do you remember June last year? I showed you the book called Strawberry Sunday that the Stitchery sisters did together, Nikki Franklin and her sister Sarah. And this, I finished this. This is what I did at the time, the strawberry needle roll. Do you remember, which was an embroidered project in that Strawberry Sunday? And so all of this was embroidered with Weeks Dyeworks threads and lined with some Brenda Riddle. Oh man, I love that range. I think it's called Grace. The Brenda Riddle, just brilliant for strawberry finishing, that gingham. And then a little strawberry cake from my friend who, she's not my friend, she's a lady that I've bought loads of stuff from, called Chapel View Crafts up in the valleys here in Wales. And so I've got a lot of her pins, the little Battenberg. I just keep these on my desk, and I've got a lot of her needle minders. That's just a lemon cake, and they're just great for finishing off. I've also got a little lemon meringue pie for going in your little pin rolls. So that was the first thing I finished, and there were so many gorgeous projects in this Strawberry Sunday booklet that I've always wanted to get back to it. So every summer I hope that I'll be able to finish one more thing. So this was a little cross stitch project that Sarah designed, and I just lined it on the back. Yeah, anyway, I'll tell you a bit more about this. So what happened was, this idea of putting this on a denim jacket, I thought I could go round and just keep this for wearing to retreats and things. This is a really old, it's got to be 20 years old. It's way too small for me. To be honest, I can hardly do it up. So I don't mind kind of spoiling it with crazy stitching things. This is a little, what you call them, badge, you know, that you can iron on. When I bought something this month, I'll show you later when I come to haul, from Hands and Lock, you know, where they sell those gorgeous leather travel sewing cases. They do iron-on badges. I just love that, the lemon one. So I picked this up, ironed that on, and then a couple of other things. I adorned my denim jacket, and you know, this is a bit of I think this is going to be a bit of a craze. I'll tell you why. A couple of girls, and I forgot last time, didn't I? But I got the inspiration to do this from Steph at Lake Girl Stitches. Sorry, the weather's changeable and a bit stormy and then really sunny, so I don't know what it's going to do, but the seagulls are going mad. So Steph at Lake Girl Stitches, she blinged up her denim jacket, and a lovely lady I saw on Instagram called Leslie, Mini Gnome, and she's got some fabulous finishes of strawberries, but she's also, I noticed, cut up one of her cross-stitch pieces that she knew she was never going to finish. It looks like a kind of patriotic, maybe a plum street, I'm not sure, but she edged the collar. So it inspired me to use one of my old cross stitches that had gone wrong. It was one of the first ones I ever did in lockdown, and it was beautiful in that it was all green and white on Weeks Beige linen, but I made a heinous mistake on it that was just, I couldn't go forward. I could only trash the project. So what I had to do, it's been waiting in my dining room for, well, since then, to finish into a project bag, and I just knew it was never going to happen. So what I've done is, let me take it off and I'll show you. Plus it's too hot. I just cut it and I sewed the salvageable bits that I could manage. I put interfacing on the back in the Laurie Holt method, you know, so you slice the interfacing, turn it inside out and just whip stitched it on. And I did the same with a piece that I could retrieve from the sampler on the inside of the collar. I mean, it's really basic, it's not professional at all, but I was inspired by the girls that have been doing this, and I thought Steph's finish was fab. And also Hobbies of Holly, she's done a fabulous old, it looks like a quilt block that she's cut and used the Laurie method on the back of her jacket. So this is a little bit of alphabet. So rather than just chuck them, or, you know, and then then I got carried away, and I put another strawberry that I bought up at the Malvern Quilt Show. I just ironed that onto the back there. And then I used my Elizabeth Stevenson Queen of the May little panel that we got for free, you know, if we ordered the chart from, not Fat Quarter Shop, from Hands Across the Sea. So I used the little one instead of doing a pin cushion, which I was going to do. And what I did with this one was I just interfaced the back to give it a bit more structure, split it like Laurie does, Laurie Holt, turned it inside out, and then I did actually machine applique around the edge with a tiny 2.5mm stitch just to properly get it on there so it's got a bit of structure. And then the last thing I did was, and this tells the sort of the story of my cross stitch journey. So this is where we are now, 2025, contemplating starting Queen of the May, which is, you know, a serious big project. And this is where my journey started, and I made a terrible mistake, because you know, on the cross stitch charts when they have the greyed out lines, and it means this is a repeat. Do not repeat the stitches, but it just shows where the pages overlap. I didn't know what it meant, and so I did those grey lines again. So what you can see here is that on those stalks, that should be just one, but I did it twice. And so this stalk on the lily, there should be a complete pleat, if you know what I mean. So I've repeated 3 stitches twice. So this looks like a double. It should just be one. So that's how it should look. So it was completely irretrievably kind of ruined, but it still is fabulous colours. And the one lily's beautiful, right? And just, I don't know, I couldn't bear to throw it out. So there we are. That's my journey of cross stitching in an ancient old Gap jacket that doesn't even fit me, but I'm going to be wearing that to retreats, and I just thought that was a lot of fun, so I'd share that with you. So that's my jacket, and that was my first finish. I'll just quickly show you my book of days. So what have I done? Oh right, I've got my sticker from the National Trust here, from the old post office in Tintagel. Such a fun weekend. And the food at Nathan Outlaw's, wow, the fish. The lobster there was caught locally in the bay at Port Isaac, and we had the taster menu on the Saturday night, and it was just 5 different fishes, just incredible food and wine. Honestly, I'm on a crash diet now. I finished a week's mark on one of my Stitchery Sisters labels for the month that I'll be coming on to. And I did do a little bit of shopping at Kitten Stitcher, and you know she always sends you the most gorgeous stickers to put in your book. And I might have treated myself to something from Sue at Minnie McBean's. And the previous month, of course, I had all my fabulous Barry stickers to use. So I did, and my Laurie charms I got. So yeah, my book of days is looking really great with a lot of stickers. And I know this month I've got something from the Stitchery. And I also finished my Thornfield Needle and Flax 46 count. I'm going to be battling with dark grey clouds and too bright sunshine. I don't normally film in the morning. Yeah, but Phil's out on the motorbike today, so I thought I'll quickly get on here while it's quiet. So that's my book of days. I did have 2 other small little finishes this month. Yes. So the first one I'll show you was a random thing. This is in my gorgeous, relatively new, I forgot to share it with you last month, shaker carrier tray in this duck egg blue, which is just my favourite colour in the whole world. And in here, I've got my finishes from last June. Do you remember I did the With Thy Needle and Thread Grand Old Flag 2? These beautiful R&R, I think it's on creme brulee. So those 3, and some of the little cute finishes I've got in here. My Freedom pin roll from Plum Street, I just love. They're kind of very similar colours because it's a turquoise blue rather than a union blue. And this is on 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit, which I absolutely love. And one of the little needle roll in this shaker tray in the front is previous finish El Jondere by With Thy Needle and Thread. I think this is in Ruby Slipper, a gorgeous kind of rusty red. And you do your name 1 over 1, and she shows you how to finish the little loop for the finishing. So anyway, I've shared this with you last June, so I won't go on and on about that. But my other finish for this month was this beautiful velvet strawberry from Mary Jo Heine. Do you remember there was a bit of a craze last year for buying her beautiful strawberry kits? This comes in a set of 5, and I bought it at the time a year ago, and I just never got round to sitting down because you do need a couple of hours. She's got an incredible instruction book in the kit, and also written instructions that come with it, with all the sand to fill them and the ribbons to do the top. I tell you, it was the most challenging thing for me to finish, because making those little tiny ribbons, they're literally 1 inch pieces that you have to sort of sew together into make a little ruff. But there is, if you Google Mary Jo Heine's strawberry finishing, you can actually find her, was it YouTube or a Zoom? Anyway, it's online. I think it was in lockdown and she was teaching a load of ladies how to do this. So it was so helpful to actually see the video to do it. So doesn't it look professional? I'm really pleased. So there's 5 different colour, beautiful old velvets that she puts in the kit. So I can't wait to get, I'm going to try and do 1 a month of these because they do take like, this took me half a day. So, and each of them comes with different colour sequins and beads to match the velvet. So clever, the design. Very similar to this one I bought last year from Suzanne Curtis that was velvet. And I think she was in Britain and she finished the tops with the little silk ribbon and again put the beads in the velvet. But yeah, I think honestly I couldn't be more delighted with this. And I noticed I had an email only last week from Mary Jo. If you sign up to her newsletter, there's a 15% off. I wrote it down actually. Mary Jo Heine and Claire, they've got a brand new strawberry colour combination because I got the traditional red. There's also a pink and green, and now she's got the kind of like bright pink, blue, red and yellow. And if you use the code Candied Strawberries, you get 15% off up until the 31st of June. So you could go and have a look. And I just happened to see that in her newsletter. Yeah, you do need to use the uppercase Candied Strawberries. But if you sign up for a newsletter, you'll see when she's got offers on. But they're really, I think, good value for what you get. And I've got all my other lovely strawberries in here too. I've got this cutter quilt from Homespun with Love, Sue Phillips. I've got this beautiful one that I was given by Renee. Everyone knows Renee Lawson. She is Prairie Stitcher 515, I think, on Instagram. And this was in the Smalls Exchange at the Autumn of Abundance retreat. She'd made this gorgeous strawberry. So this is what I took home from that retreat in 2023. Isn't it fabulous? So talented, beautifully made. So that's a very precious thing I've got. And some other things from Cowslip, my beautiful strawberry here that it's So Daisy on Instagram made that. And Paula from Eva Faith on Etsy, who sells beautiful linen, and his snail garden on YouTube, she made this and gave them out. And Sarah Stonehouse, who's on Instagram, made this beautiful, like little, it feels like corduroy, little strawberry with her. It's just so sweet. So all my precious strawberry finishes are in the back, and my needle rolls and with my needle and thread. But what a beautiful shaker carrier box. Now this is from a company called Red Squirrel. Where's his card? Here we go. It's a guy called Neil, and he's got a lovely website. If you have a look, he sells all the different size shaker boxes and these carrier trays. It's www.redsquirrelwoodendesigns.co.uk, and he's got some beautiful things. And I want to be getting this one now in cream so that I can do the summer schoolhouse series and keep them in there. Isn't it just fab? Yeah, so that is my shaker box. And then one last finish that I had for the month was remember when I went down to Cowslip Studio and I bought the Stacey Nash little papier-mâché box? She had a few of these odd ones left because the kits that she did a few years ago, the Red Sparrow Pinky kit, she'd sold out of the charts, the actual kits of those, but she had a few odd boxes that her mum made. Is it Marianne, her mum? Anyway, I managed to get a little box, and one really, really kind lady, and I didn't write her name down. I'll have to tell you next time. She offered to send me the chart. Would you believe that she'd stitched this years ago? She sent it to me and I was able to finish the little sparrow. Oh, I feel so bad that I didn't write the name down. I don't know where I've written it down. But anyway, thank you so much. You know who you are, and I'll call you out next time, I promise. I finished the little sparrow pin keep and managed to sort of put a load of wadding on it. And this was, I used R&R Liberty Gathering Grey because I think it called for Barb's Blend, but this was a little bit of a more cream linen to actually match the box. So how cute. That stays out on my other one that I finished at the oh guys, my memory, I've got so much to try and remember today. Needlework Press, when I went to Vicky's Needlework Press studio, and I finished this little papier-mâché box with Nita Brock. So now I've got 2 of these gorgeous little boxes and my tummy's rumbling. I hope you didn't hear that. Isn't it cute? That just took a day to stitch and then a day to sort of fiddle about sewing the back up, and it's quite padded. You have to put a lot of wadding, so just from your quilt leftovers in there. So I couldn't be more happy. So 3 very small finishes. I don't have any big finishes for the month, but I was really pleased with that. So, oh, I know who sent the Stacey Nash Little Sparrow chart to me. It was a really kind lady called Stacey Milland from Collegeville in Texas. I did write it down in my notes. So thank you, Stacey. How thoughtful and kind. All the way from America that came. So I've stitched that and finished it, and I couldn't be more delighted. So I've shown you my Minnie Mouse brooch by the Stitchery, and I've shown you my Mary Jo Honey strawberry, and now I'm going to move on to whips. Okay, I've got so many whips to show you. Honestly, I don't know. Right, they're all lined up on the ironing board, so let's get started. The first one, you know, I always share with you in my beautiful Stitch Folk Barry Hand bead bag with my Nancy Mills 5-time blessed zipper pull. And actually I'm meeting Nancy and her friend. They're coming over in July, and I'm going to go to Britta's house and meet them, and we're going to have a lovely day stitching together. So this is Charlotte Warrington, 1838, fondly known to me as Lottie. And this is from Needlework Press that I bought through the Colorado Cross Stitch shop, because this was an exclusive in the Homespun Needlework group on Facebook that sometimes do charts exclusively for a year or so until they're released. And this is using these most gorgeous, brightly coloured Weeks Dye Works threads. And I've already used a complete skein of lily pads on the green grass, and the bright yellow going up the border is Weeks Curry, would you believe? So let me show you my progress. Now this month I did a sort of, I changed tack. Let me just move that denim jacket. I changed tack and I decided to go up the border. So I'm not going to use my board because she's too big. So this is where we are with Lottie. I mean, she's massive. Let me just show you again the size of this. This is 40 count, Weeks straw. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous linen. And this time I've gone, so let me try and show you. The sun is coming in quite drastic, isn't it? I've gone all the way up the side from this pink one, which I finished, to right the way up. I'm still not at the top, not quite, I don't think, but I'm not far off now. So I can't wait to get back. And hopefully this afternoon, I'll be able to get this out and start stitching on her. So she's had a couple of days. I did all the border going up the side. If I come in close, you can see, oh, the light, it's not good. Hopefully you can see that. So pretty. Yes, so the 3 red lines there, the green, red, and the yellow curry in the middle going all the way around this. So I do need to start to crack on with the border, otherwise I don't want to leave it till the end. Although, you know, there's so much green grass. It's quite nice because you've got so much variety on this chart to jump around. So I love that. Can't wait to get back to it. So that's Lottie. Next, I stitched on my Hands Across the Sea, my Welsh girl, Jane Bannister, 1855. Absolutely love this stitch. And I did spend quite a few days. This is in my Laurie Holt Prairie range panel. Quilted the back of this one. I don't do it on all of them, but these panels are so great to cut out and make lines with the songbird, which I backed my Happy Place quilt with. And this one is the one that Phil bought me one Christmas or birthday from 123 Stitch, and he clicked all the buttons to put on madness, clicked all the Averissoir silks that are being not cooperating. And so they're in these bags that won't lie straight, but I've shown you before, haven't I? Stunning colours. And I made this little fob. And so Jane, I've been really good and done a lot of the border, and then I thought I would sort of let myself go in and start one of the motifs, and this time I managed to completely finish. Sorry, that was a bit of a loud crash. I managed to finish this huge basket. Now I don't know why the basket is blue with like a pale straw colour linen thread running through it to make a basket weave. It doesn't want to show on the camera very well. It's much better in real life, but look how beautiful that is. So this time I finished this big flower and did some of the sort of apricot colour on the top. It's so pretty. And now I've got to come over to the other side and drop down, and there's an exact replica on this side. This is on an unknown coloured linen that's the Sotomer Italian, so it's not Zweigart, it's Italian linen, and this is from Tabby Cat that I picked up at the Great British Sampler Weekend off Michelle, isn't it, from Tabby Cat. So this is where I'm at with her now. It's quite a big project, but that border is absolutely stunning. I love it. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have a Flosstube, these are the type of projects you could just happily sit down with for days on end, but I feel like I can only have a couple of days on them and I've got to move on. But I did do a lot of stitching on that. Okay, next, in my lovely Stitch Folk bag that I had from one of the clubs last year with a Nancy felt strawberry from 5 Times Blessed. This is another one that I try to do a little bit on each month. And this is Mani Di Donna Eunice Tancarao, a beautiful stitch that I was inspired to start by Reese, who doesn't do a Flosstube very often, but if you haven't, you need to go and find her and go back and watch her beautiful Flosstubes. So this time, I've done loads. I worked a few days on her. So I've taken the border almost right the way across the top now. So soon I'll be able to do what I've done on Jane and move in and start some of those gorgeous pastoral scenes and the little motifs. So I'm just carrying over the top here. This is just with the DMC. I mustn't say just with, this is one of my favourite projects. That DMC, the pale pinks and ecru. Some greens, golds and browns, and not very many. You can just pull those 6 colours out and it's so easy. There's not a million different colour changes, and yet it is one of the most favourite things I've ever stitched. Look at those roses. Stunning. This is stitched on 40 count weeks. I'm forgetting my linens today. Eunice Tancarel, Weeks Cocoa, that's right, because my lovely friend Roberta from Sable Stitches brought me a fat quarter of that over when she came over for afternoon tea last summer. Right, next I stitched on, okay, this is by Cross Stitch Antiques, Julia Rachel de la Mer, 1849, in another Barry. Was this the last? No, this was the last but one bag we got from her quarterly club this year. Look at that bag. Just so beautiful. Okay, this is a fabulous project. I absolutely love it. This is stitched with, well, a variety of threads actually. So this was an exclusive at the Country Sampler, and I think I managed to get it on the 3rd release. But the good news is that Kathleen Littleton, who signed my chart when I met her at Sampler Symposium in January, this chart is about to be released now to the general public, and it's going to be available on Kathleen's site on the 1st of August to buy. And I think she said she's going to aim to have a few kits available to purchase as well. And then it'll be available to shops from, I think she said, the 31st of August this year. So what fabulous news, because this chart is stunning. And actually, these beautiful colours, I think everyone was freaking out about the bright green avocado, but I tell you, it just works. And sometimes you've just got to trust the process. And I spent quite a few days this month working on her. She is beautiful. So I've taken I'm in doing a sort of very loose stitch along with my lovely friend Britta Jenkinson, who I'm meeting in July, and my lovely friend Rika King on Instagram, and House of Stitch and Stash, and she's got a YouTube and a fabulous club to buy her project portfolios. Now this time I took the flowers. I think I'd done the first one, but I filled in all of the flowers up the right hand side. So I finished the border on this side now, and this is on 40 count needle and flax Hemingway, which is a beautiful, I do love the needle and flax linens. The Thornfield is like whiter with a pinky red tint mottle, and this I would say is more of a brown with a darker sort of tan mottle, so it's quite a bit darker than Thornfield. I do love Thornfield, but it's absolutely one of my favourites. And I've just finished that huge piece of 46 count now. It's all cut up between the different things I'm working on, so I kind of need to find a new supplier. Yeah, because I bought that at the attic, so I can't really get it in the UK. So there we are, Rachel de la Mer. This is the Guernsey sampler, and because my mum went to Guernsey, I just felt I had to have this sampler. It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes you get a kind of like pull that you are drawn to something more than others. Now my next project, oh, I love this. I struggled with this one actually in the beginning because I found it really, really difficult to stitch on. This is With Thy Needle and Thread, a daily reminder. This is one of the first things that it was new at market, and it's one of the 5 things that I started straight after market. So I did start 5 projects kind of on my, I think it was my Flosstube 12 when I said I'd done all the market starts. So I did Teresa Kogat's Coco the Clown, didn't I? That little bag. I did... I finished that. Then I did Lily the frog, finished her, and I did the Stacey Hedgehog, the red pear needle book, which was a really quick stitch and fun to make up actually in that gorgeous pink rhubarb velvet. So I finished, so that was the 3rd. There was one more that I'm struggling to remember, and then this was the 5th. A daily reminder. So this is in this really cute project bag, Pour Me a Glass of Sass, that I picked up at from Sophie from Turtle Bay Fabric. She does these little cute project bags. It's such a lovely size for these charts. They just fit nicely. And this one is stitched on the stunning, let me show you the threads first. I did make a scissor fob, a thread drop for this. And these colours are very similar to the needle roll I'm doing by Samplers Not Forgotten. The gorgeous one with the little houses on, the village that I showed you a couple of floss tubes ago. I need to get back to it. The cognac, one of the most gorgeous weeks variegated colours. And this is what the house is stitched in for this one. And the taupe, which is another gorgeous, I've got two because they're quite different, beautiful variegated threads. So the colours on this I just love. And wait till you see how they pop on this special linen, because this is the beautiful linen by Jodie Trixie Tricycle, which is called Cedar River Linens. And this is 40 count arboreal. And I just absolutely love the colour. I prefer this to the dark soil because it's not brown. It's like an amalgamation of all the different colours of metals. It's got green in there, it's got copper in there, it's got almost like a blue-grey in there. It's just beautiful. And I'm glad I stuck with it because I really struggled counting the roof. I made about 4 mistakes in the counting because it's quite hard to see the holes. I should have bought 36, but I picked this up when I was at the attic because they had it. And when the chart was released, I couldn't believe my luck that I did have a piece of this, the called for. So yeah, there's the cognac. And in fact, the roof is a different color. I can't remember now which, the house and the roof are different pinks, but they just pop on this. I think it looks stunning. I'd love to do this as my kind of like 1 thread a day stitch, because I think a daily reminder is quite apt, isn't it? And every time Brenda Gervais does something, I mean, that new chart that she released at the kit that she gave everyone at the Amana retreat with Farm Girl Dry Goods, I just want to get my hands on that chart. Be good and do good. No, do unto others as you would have them do to you. Something like that. Amazing. This is be good and do good, isn't it? A daily reminder. Just so lovely. And I love the story about the Amana girls and their Quaker hats and their calico pennies. It was like very moving, the summaries from a few floss tubers. So I saw Jordan the Tattooed Stitcher did one, and then she mentioned one of her friends, and I just subscribed, and I only found her yesterday. Oh, what is her name? Burn Stitches. She was on that retreat, and she's done a lovely recap of the Brenda kit and what it all meant, and how I think they were all moved to tears on that retreat. It sounds amazing. So as soon as that chart is released, I will get it by hook or crook somehow from over the seas. So there we are, another absolute classic by Brenda. Love everything she does. Then the other stitch that I would love to try and do, but I keep failing to do 1 thread a day, again in one of my stunning Barry Quarterly Club bags. You have the loveliest stitching, and I'll try not to get that shadow, with a classic polka dot on the back, beautifully lined with this blackbird fabric. And so I've got 2 projects in here. And the one that I would love to do a little bit of stitching on every day, but it's not happening, is 15 Friends. I got a few days, and I was doing 1 thread just for a couple of days, and then, I don't know, life took over and I seemed to fall out of the habit. This is a stunning chart that I bought in the attic after I saw the sample on the table. And this is Jane Ann, 1871, the Legacy Collection by Cozy Egg Designs, and it's called 15 Friends. So there are 15 peg numbers or bed numbers on this chart, and now I've got 2 of them sewn in. So I'm stitching this. This is one of my little Hands Across the Sea things that came in the Words of Wisdom box, this cute little sampler pouch, and I keep my Averrois. So this is the 305. And so this gorgeous dusty pink that I was inspired to use by Sandy, Whispered Stitches on Instagram, who I'm sure is making a lot more progress than me. Oh, this is one other chart I've got in here, all kitted up. It's been in there kitted up for, honestly, years. Louisa Coulamore. And if you haven't seen Narissa's stitching lifestyle, if you haven't seen her latest Flosstube, you need to go over right now and watch it, because her plans for Sampler September and what she calls stash sampler stitching, where exactly like that, where you've got something in a bag all kitted up with the linen and thread ready to go. She's going to be starting one for the whole of all the weeks in August and September, because September's not enough. And I thought I must start Louisa in September for Sampler September. So I'm going to try and pick, I think there are 5 weekends. I'm going to try and get into the habit of doing that. So this is a stunning, stunning project. This is on 46 count, needle and flax Thornfields. I mean, look at that linen. It's got to be one of my favourites. And so this time I finished off, I'd got to the 3 last time, because if you're doing 1 thread a day, you have to just drop it, don't you, mid-thread. So I finished off along here, got my second girl's bed number in, or peg, or whatever it is, on 890, and then started on this, because I work backwards, so I started here, which I think is the middle, and sort of came over. So these in this silk, which is just beautiful, and so thin, and so nice, and perfect on 46 count. I just love this. Again, this is something I could just happily stitch monogamously on. If only we could. But we can't, because there's more. So the next thing I did was Whip Go in this really cute, I fancy this is Kathy Holden fabric. It's sort of, it looks like a tapestry. This is years ago when I was buying, I couldn't make bags, I didn't know how to do it, so I was buying my project bags from Val at Patchwork Paw Print with her little button on there. And I've also got the matching thread holder, and I saw Steph at Lake Girl Stitching and Kim, Contented Needleworker, all on Flosstube. They bought a lot of this fabric to make their own beautiful project bags and floss drops. So, and this is lined with the gorgeous dictionary definitions. Oh, Kathy Holden fabric is stunning. So this project has been going for quite a few years, and it was called on my Whip Go, and I just love Whip Go, and you don't know what's coming. So the fabulous surprise this month was another Plum Street. Last month it was Live on Little, and I can't remember what the other one was. This was a shepherd's song. So this is what it looks like. May goodness and mercy follow thee. And it's a shepherd's song because it's based, it's based on Psalm 23, written by King David, who was a shepherd and a musician before he became the King of Israel. And last time I had half of this quirky shepherdess. Look at her funky bloomers and these crazy folky sheep. Absolutely love this chart. In fact, when I found Plum Street, after Blackbird with the needle and thread, and I discovered Paulette's charts, I bought 3 of them at the same time. A shepherd's song, 1,000 Hills, which I finished last year, which is I just love. And there's another one with the sheep all over it that Katie Strachan has, I can't remember. I'll fish it out for next time and show you. But this one, oh guys, I probably did the most stitching of all on this month. I've made amazing progress, if I say so myself. So this time I did another whole sheep. Loads of that grass filling. Finished the little shepherdess with her hair and her little bun. And did all the quilt blocks. Now they're going to be backstitched, which I haven't done, but the quilt blocks are all in and the second tree is done. And I finished something up here, the doodads on the little bird at the top. So isn't it amazing? Such a pretty stitch. And actually so many girls are stitching on this at the moment, because I think there's a kind of stitch along going, and I think it was Christy at Crosshatch Quilts that converted it into blue, and now there's even a silk conversion that you can get in the blue colourway. But I love the pink, I have to say. I think that's amazing. So I just need to keep coming across the bottom here, because that stitching, I can't tell you, it doesn't look much, but I've spent days filling in that grass. It is serious filling. And I can't remember the colour of that green, but it's not a green I've ever used for grass before. Sorry for the shadow and the light. It's very, very changeable this morning. It's not a great day for filming, but I just needed to come on and show you, because I've ironed it all now. Then my next Whitgo one is a beauty, Caroline Amelia trowel. And I know that Brenda, sampler stitcher Brenda and Laura, who was so kind to me, always say to come over and see my floss tubes. Thank you so much, girls. And I know that Brenda stitched this and finished it, and I think she's framed it and got it on the wall. This is a gorgeous stitch, and look at the sheep on the back. Just beautiful. Again, by With a Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I didn't tell you, did I, that this one is on 40 count Fox and Rabbit hog bristle, that classic kind of yellowy grey, beautiful colour linen. I'd love to get in the club for Fox and Rabbit. I must send another email. I think I've been on that waiting list for about 3 years, and I've never got in. But Caroline Amelia, she stitched this when she was 10 years old, which sort of just blows my mind. She was 10, and there was some amazing history in the beginning of the book about this, because her work is quite different. And she was from New Romney, which is in Kent. So she's a Romney, Kent girl, which is in the southeast of England. And it's called the Garden of England. It's where a lot of the fruit and veg is grown. And it's huge sheep farming and wool. And at the time, there was this picture of a classic sort of shepherd's hut that Brenda Gervais found online. So she put that in because she thinks that, I think she actually found the girl. And Romney Marsh sheep are also referred to as the Kent sheep. They've got white faces and heavy locks of wool. So probably it inspired Caroline's sampler. So what she thought is that the little house in the middle was probably the shepherd's hut. She thought this was Caroline's father, because when she tracked her down, she found her family, and I think she even found the grandfather, whose name was Solomon, and she thought that might be the mother and that this was Caroline herself. Yes, such a beautiful sampler. So this time I have completely finished. I did a lot of stitching. I took this to Cornwall with me, and I did the entire house. So last time I'd come across and finished the tree, and I think I'd done all of that plant. So this time I finished the butterfly, did the whole house, and Caroline with her stripy dress and her little bowl of cherries, and took the border across the top down the side. So yes, so I've almost completely finished the top strip, which means I've only got the next two, and I've been doing this for 3 years. Was it released? I know that I had one piece of 40 count Seraphim antique lace. This is a gorgeous linen, very tight weave, and so look how small it's going to be. And I split it in half, one half for Regina Hable that I finished last year, and they were both released at the same time by Brenda Gervais, and this was the second one. But Regina, I just loved that so much, I sort of wanted to finish that first. And so only another 6 years and I'll get this one finished. It took me 3 years to do the top half, but it's so pretty, and this is definitely one that I would like to get framed like Regina at the end. Okay, next I stitched on, because I'm going to try and keep going a little bit every month on my Stacey Nash projects that I got down at Cowslip. So I finished the top. I was close last time, so I just finished the top of this bag, and then I started on the little pin keep cottage because they were on the same piece of linen. And this linen is by Blackberry Primitives, Tonya, who came over with Stacey for the retreat. And this was the 36 count fossil. It's a beautiful, floppy, gorgeous linen. Look at the colour, quite dark and grungy, and those bright pinks just pop on that. So I finished the top of the border. So this is now ironed and trimmed, and I've cut the template out so that I'm ready. Once I've done the back, which I haven't started, I'll be ready to put the bag together. But the back is stitched on the darker 36 count Salem. And it's this beautiful, really grungy dark brown. Looks a bit like dark soil, doesn't it? That everyone's using for the daily reminder. And, oh right, here, there's two in here. And then, so I finished that, front of the bag of that little pouch, and then sewing pouch, and then I started I can use my smaller board for this. Oh, and I so enjoyed stitching this. I started the pin keep, the Leaping Rabbit sewing pouch and pin keep, and this is the pin keep. And okay, I haven't got it to hand to read, but Stacey said she was inspired to do this little stitch on a real cottage that she saw down in Cornwall. Remember when she was at the retreat at Cowslip last year in 2024, and so she couldn't wait to do. So this is full of specialty stitches to try to look like the thatch. So what it is over the two linen threads, you do 3 stitches to the left, 3 to the right, 3 to the up and down. It's hard to describe. I don't know if you can see it, but it does look a bit like thatch. It's very slow and mindful, and the whole of the roof is going to be finished in that way. And then we've also got the Algerian eyelets, which I've done in dolphin for the front door. Now the light is, I just hope you can see this, because it all just looks one big blur of sunshine to me. And the flowers trailing up the side are in the Madison Rose Pink, and those are little tiny eyelets as well. The eyelets look so amazing in the dolphin, don't they? Variegated. And on that note of eyelet stitching, have you seen, I'm going to forget now. Oh, Brenda and Laura's friend. I'm not Ashley. It'll come to me. But she's done the most amazing tutorial on eyelet stitching. Oh man, I've forgotten. It'll come back to me, and I'll remind you. She has done it. I'll put the link in my description box. That's what I'll do. Oh, I am sorry, guys. I'm not 100% today. I've actually got an ear infection, and I had to go to the GP yesterday and get some antibiotic drops. So I'm not quite with it, but anyway, the show must go on. We mustn't whinge about being poorly. So that's that. Next, what have I got? Then I started this gorgeous project that I was inspired to start after I'd seen the beautiful finish by Crow's Nest 77, Alice, my friend, Alice Crow. And she brought this finished piece down to show Stacey, and it was just stunning. The colours, however, don't really look like the called for, so I did switch a bit out. And it was so fun when I saw that Carol Saltbox has had this in her stash for years, and she also changed the colours out and is starting on this. So this is such a beautiful, I've got a very small start, such a beautiful stitch. Now I'm stitching this on a 40 count, picture this plus pewter that I've had in my stash for years. It's probably not ideal, but they called for a lakeside. I think it was lakeside, or did they call for mink? Yeah, mink. This was R&R mink, but I just can't get that. So I had to use picture this plus pewter, which I thought was a pretty good match. And I started on the urn in the middle, and I did switch my colours out, and I can't remember, isn't this bad, off the top of my head what I used, but let me have a look, I can find out, can't I? So Chesapeake Bay, that's what I went with. I switched mine out for Classic Colourworks. I bought all the Chesapeakes, the Weeks ones as well, but this was the one that I thought was the best match. And it is a gorgeous colour, because what happened was it wasn't switched out for Barrel Cactus. Barrel Cactus will stay, which is a beautiful pale taupey duck egg colour. This is the one that was called for the urn, which is, I had to buy because I didn't have it, Desert Mesquite. And it's, to me, it's green. It's not blue at all. It's completely wrong for that urn. So that's why I had to switch out and find a sort of tealy colour. Oh, and this is in my fabulous Tonya Blackberry Primitive project bag that I bought. And I've got one to give away, haven't I, at the end? And I've drawn the winner. I'll come to that in a minute. And my gorgeous little chick that Sherry from Just So Sherry gave us to hang. I decided to hang mine as a zipper pull. So cute. And it always reminds me of Sherry and our lovely fun time down at Cowslip. So I bought 2 of these little cute project bags. And so this is my progress. I've just done a little bit on the urn. Very difficult. I actually had to use a beading needle because this 40 count, the holes were so small. So and then I could do the full coverage, no problem, with the beading needle. A number 10. Which I also use for my Stitchery Sisters labels on 46 count needle and flax, because the full coverage bits are so tight on that. You don't need it when you're using the Averissois 103 silks, but for the weeks I do need it. So I use a beading needle for a couple of those really sort of tight weaved projects. So then what else did I do? Well, I did on the 25th of the month in my gorgeous Acufactum fabric project bag, I do my stitch along with Lizzie the Stitcher. I haven't had a chance to see the one that she posted yesterday, but Lizzie is in New Zealand and she's such a wonderful stitcher. Her Stacey Nash finish work is stunning. You've got to go and follow her. And we are stitching together with Linda, who's HMB Fog on Instagram. We're stitching this one, Peace on Earth, in the Bells on Christmas Day classic book by Blackbird Designs. And I got my little matching thread bed. And this time I stitched all the way and did a couple of the alphabet lines at the top. I was dying to get the, is it baked apple? I can't remember what the red is, but last time I went round with the brown palomino, and there's a couple of different browns around the border. So this time I thought I'll go in and start to do some of the fun stuff at the top. Yeah, so I've done 2 of the alphabet lines. Such a fun stitch. And there are some berries to come all the way down on the little leaves in one of the reds. So it's so pretty. Hopefully we'll have it done for Christmas. I think we will. And then the other little project bag that I said I got down from Blackberry Primitives at the Cowslip Studio, this version with the farmer ploughing the field, so cute. I keep all my sort of odd projects like the Sue Hawkins little ones that I picked up at the Malvern Quilt Show. So one of the ones I got, do you remember, was this damask Rose pincushion kit. So I haven't opened that one yet, but I did start this one. The Damask Rose Scissor Keeper. So this is the front and that's the back. And it's one of those shapes like hands-on design sometimes do. It's really cute. And these were the gorgeous threads. I think actually they were Anchor. I don't think they were DMC, but look at the colours. Oh, I do love greens and pinks like that. And on one of my fabulous wooden stitchery things that you sometimes get with a silk ribbon in your advent calendar. Over the years, I've got 2 of these now. So beautiful colours. So this is on 18 count canvas, and crumbs, you've got to forgive me for the state of this, because I just refuse to put it on a frame. You know I stitch in hand, so I made myself do it in hand. So that's, I think I've just put in the 4 colours of the rose, the dark right through to the light pinks. And there are some French knots for this sort of stamen in the middle. I'm not sure whether, I love French knots, but I'm not sure whether it needs it. But this was quite hard work because I think you pull through, I can't remember how many strands, but I think it might be all 6 strands, or it might be 4, but it's quite chunky. You've got to be in the mood for doing it. It's like doing a tapestry or Berlin wool work, isn't it? You kind of got to be in the mood for it. And I am naughty. I've rolled the sides up because that's what I do with my linen as well. I roll it in so that I can just sort of do that. So, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's very pretty. And also it'll be really useful, I think, when it's done. So I don't know. To do my eyelet stitching, Audrey Stitch Bead. Audrey, I'm so sorry. How could I forget your name? So Brenda, the serial starter, is very friendly with Audrey because I think they do the IndyCar racing thing together, don't they, with their husbands? And I kind of relate to that because Phil's such a petrol head. Everything's motorbikes or Formula One. And actually I've watched the entire Isle of Man TT motorbike racing. It's a whole week, and I've watched that in the last month, every lap, which I actually love. I am secretly, actually, if I show you my t-shirt, I am secretly quite a motorbike fan. This is my New Orleans Harley Davidson t-shirt. I wasn't going to show that on the Flosstube, but it's got, yeah, it's one of my very favourite t-shirts. It's very old. This is from before lockdown, I think, but one of my favourites. Anyway, I'm digressing. Audrey Stitch Bead has got the most amazing little stitch with her Algerian eyelet tutorial. And if you're worried about having a go, she makes it look so easy. And they are so easy. Yeah, I do use a frame. I use my little Nurge hoop to do the eyelet stitching on the Stacey Nash Pin Keep cottage door, because I think otherwise your tension might go a little bit off because you do have to pull quite hard to make the hole. So then the next one, okay, so then you remember that there was a kind of fun thing going on for the month of May called Market Mania, which Gem Stitching on Flosstube did as a kind of like fun thing for the month. And although I'd already started 5 market charts, which I couldn't believe because I thought, oh, there's nothing I really love at market this year. But then weirdly, I started 5 and I found another 4 that I could start in the month of May, just to get a few stitches in. Now, one of them I shared with you last time because I must have started it at the beginning of May. And that was this one, Spring Swan by Brenda Gervais. And I got a few of the feathers in. And this is the gorgeous one with the lettuce leaf, which is the same colour thread that Brenda used on the lake in Quaker Manor at Quaker Hill. And it's the most stunning aqua blue. So this is the one that the little Easter eggs, because this is Spring Swan. This is in my gorgeous Brenda Riddle project bag that I made myself. Love her fabrics. And this is my progress. So this is on 40 count, vintage country mocha. And this time I did the swan's head, came down and put some of the turquoise bow in and started some of the little eggs that will be on the hanging here. So yeah, I'm not sort of feeling spring now, but I'm glad I got a start on it because I know that I can finish that and have it ready, because I've done the swan for the summer swan. She's up there in my display, which I shared with you last June on my Flosstube. And I've also done the autumn swan. So the Christmas one, I ran out of time. I've got the chart. And so I'm really pleased that I started the spring one because I do love them. And I've got that little Dartford China swan. So I can have that in my display thing. So what have I done with that? Oh guys, I've really, because of this March madness, March mania, I started way too many things, so it is a little bit overwhelming. Next month I'm going to limit myself to just a couple of projects to work on. The next market mania was the Tomato Hill by Plum Street. And again, I'd started this at the beginning of May and managed after my last Flosstube to get back and do a little bit more. I made the floss drop. I've got my gorgeous Silco thread milk designs drops. Oh, I love those. And these stunning colours for the tomatoes. And really, I think there's no reason why I can't finish this. If I'm looking for a finish, I want something small every month. So this time I just did all the green, all the counting, the vines, the tomato vines, and started. So this will all be filled in at the bottom, solid green. So yeah, there's a fair bit of stitching. This is on 40 counts, fibre on a whim, affogato, or is it cafe au lait? It is cafe au lait, and mine looked a lot more orangey, but it looks great with the White House popping on it, so I'm pleased with that. So that's my Plum Street. And then I had, what was next? Oh yes, so this was a new one. So every week I started something new, and the next one was my cute little scissor pull, which is a little tiny little lemon, square of lemon cake from Chapelview Crafts. This is in my Barry Stitch Folk bag from when I was in the club. Oh Mildred, of course you're charming. Absolutely stunning, stunning fabric. Again, lined with blackbird. Just beautiful. And this has got a Nancy, or maybe it was the other one. So this is the colours. And this was the Sweet Birds Sing Blackbird Design Sewing Roll and Pinky. And I had to start this because it's based on a Welsh sampler. And the Welsh sampler, if I remember, this is the one from near Merthyr Tydfil. So if I get a chance one day while I'm stitching this, I'd love to go up and just see the area where this is from. The little school where the girl went up near Merthyr. It's not that far. And so this is stitched on 36 count. Picture this plus Heartland, which is the called for. And I've got an embarrassingly small start, and I didn't even iron this. Beautiful fabric. And this is the one where Michelle Ray on Instagram coloured this with the pink and blue pencils, water pencils. She coloured the linen, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do that at the end? Anyway, I've just got a tiny bit of border started there. So you can see I did go a bit mad with starting new things for Market Mania, but I thought it was such a fun thing that Jem thought of. And then the last one for Market Mania was this one, because I'm going to call this Flosstube episode All the Fun of the Fair. I always wanted to start this goose because he's got his fairground hat on for the circus and the fair. And this goose Crumb by Stacey Nash. So she stitched this on 36 count needle bling broomgrass, which is the same one that Rose Hill Farm samplers on. I couldn't get that. I used Duxbury for Rose Hill Farm, but this time what did I use? I don't think I've written it down. I just used a scrap of something. It's Fibre on a Whim. This is Affogato. That's right. The Tomato Hill was on Cafe au Lait, but this one is on the Affogato. And so I haven't finished it, but I've done most of it. And then I have to do the hat and make it up. And it's sort of stuck on a kind of like a rosette badge on the back. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do that. It looks quite difficult to make, but we'll have a go. So that was my last Market Mania start. And 40 count Affogato by Fibre on a Whim. And then in terms of plans, cross stitch plans, two things. One, I'd love to get back to my Stacey Nash Big Blue House Pinkeep drum, which I finished the top for. Do you remember last year? I've got it in here. I literally haven't opened this since my Flosstube a year ago. Oh, wow. I just love that. Look at the swans on the pond. And the crazy donkey. Oh, I'd forgotten about this. Isn't it fab when you open things either on Whipco and you just haven't looked at them for a year? So there we are. It's been folded in half for a year. I'd like to finish the border and get that made up. I think it'd be fab. And every year you've got to add something new to your patriotic pile, haven't you? And last year I did the Brenda Grand Old Flag ones that I showed you at the start. And last year, I've got quite a few finishes, the Blackbird drum. So that was on my June Flosstube last year. This is in my Laurie Holt Strawberry Patch, the first quilt block I think I ever made. I went through all my stash and cut a little square of all my different pinks and all my different greens from my various Laurie fat quarters. I did a covered button. It's not perfect, and my zip is pretty horrific, and my free motion quilting is awful, but you know, it's a journey, isn't it? And yeah, I do love this bag. So I don't know why I'm keeping some summertime stitches in there. So that's a plan. And then another plan, talking about all the fun of the fair. This Welsh girl I've been sitting on for years. So this is A. Thomas. We don't know her first name. I don't think Nicola Parkman, Hands Across the Sea, could find so what does it say? A. Thomas, 1882. Anna Angharad or possibly Alwen will never know because she didn't record her Christian name. But from the moment Hats first saw A. Thomas sampler, she's been affectionately called the Nellies because they've got the two elephants. And so they fondly called it the Nellies. You wouldn't think it was Welsh, would you? But when you read the history in here, it's fascinating. And it's got these Welsh sort of red carnations around the edge, which are quite popular on Welsh charts, and also because, well, there's another Welsh one, isn't there, with the carnations. But I did want to just tell you this because I found two photos I put in the slideshow at the end. There's a Welsh folklore that tells a story about a Victorian travelling circus that visited the ancient market town of Tregaron in the Upper Tyvi Valley alongside the River Brennig in Ceredigion, West Wales. Now, I know this part of the world well. For hundreds of years, cattlemen drove their herds through the town, and its 12 pubs kept the local clergy very busy in their perpetual war against the evils of drink. On the evening of the first Friday in July 1848, the town's population was treated to a procession of caravans, horses, bears and elephants from Batty's travelling menagerie. There are lots of different versions as to what happened, but some reports state that an elephant died contaminated by the water from the lead mine, and the travelling show moved on. And to this day, this elephant is locally known as Jumbi. There was actually a film, it's not available anymore on that BBC iPlayer, but there was a, in Welsh language, on S4C, I think it was, and I can't download it, but I would love to have watched it because it seemed beautifully done, the little clips I can see. And the rumour is that Jumbi was buried by local people behind what is now called the Talbot Hotel. So I'll just put the picture of the Talbot Hotel in so you can see how old it is. And also a picture of two elephants called Salt and Pepper that were in another circus that were bathing in the sea at Aberystwyth. And it's just so funny to think elephants walking around West Wales like that. And the locals just, yeah, there's quite a few tales. So here we are, another Welsh girl, and I thought I was inspired by Narissa to think of what I might start for Sampler September. This is one that Phil bought me. It's got the cute little thing with it. Phil bought me the same time as he bought me Jane Bannister, and it came with the 103s, this one. So this is from Hats. Why am I showing you that side? Yeah, those are the silks. And yeah, there's quite a few different colour silks in my lovely little box from the Quilted Bear, which are just really cheap. You get a pack of 3 on Amazon in the UK, and they fit perfectly. You can fit up to 27. So I've got the silks. I've been sitting on this for 4 years, so why am I not starting it? So that was another thing. I just thought I might show you for an idea for Sampler September for me to kind of fish out and get started on. Okay, how are we doing? We're doing terribly badly because it's an hour and a quarter and I haven't even started on my embroidery. Okay, so my embroidery for May, because we're a month behind, aren't we? Came in this gorgeous packet. You know this by now, don't you, for the herbarium from the Stitchery. And it was for Larkspur, also known as the Delphinium, I think. And beautiful DMC. Now I know a lot of people are not fussed on purple, but if you do like purple, these are the perfect lilacs. So bordering on a purple on the end, but those 3 are DMC lilacs, and these dusty grey greens. Stunning colours. And this is what it looks like. Oh, look at that. We're lucky the sun's gone in. There's a huge grey cloud overhead, so the lighting now is perfect. So there we are. It took a while. It's satin stitch for these big full flowers here and here, with some tiny single strand, single wrap French knots in the middle in the amber colour. And then the little buds are 2 strands, not single strand satin stitch. So they're a little bit rougher, and you do them 2 different ways to make it look like their petals are just growing in different directions, if that makes sense, on the buds. So it did take a while because it's split stitch outline and then satin stitch fill. But look at the colours, all slightly different. Some are mixed with the 3865 white to dilute them. So there's 4 different purples, and some of the strands of 2 are mixed with white to give it the the different varieties. So clever. And the beautiful label, which I Bonder webbed. And by the way, this was interesting. My Bonder web stopped working, and I did some research online as to like, why doesn't my Bonder web stick my label on anymore? And apparently it goes off after 24 months. So after 2 years, your Bonder web, if it stops working, you need to just throw it in the bin and buy a new one, which is exactly what I did. And it's only cheap as chips, isn't it? And I used that and it stuck straight on. So I had no problem. And then I just put I've forgotten the name of the pins again. I'm a nightmare, aren't I? Entomology pin. I just, to make it look like, you know, it's not Bonder web, but sort of. So that will go in the book. And then Nikki's sister, Sarah, the Stitchery Sisters, who's got her own online shop now for her cross stitch, she designs a label to go on the other side of the little book, if that's how you want to make it up at the end. And so this was the larkspur. I didn't tell you what it said. Larkspur is our flower for May, chosen for its striking beauty with long stems and variety of colours. Don't be fooled though, the larkspur is poisonous and the seeds are the most toxic. Interesting fact, long-tongued bees are attracted to larkspur because of their hidden nectar, which requires a longer tongue to reach. And so Sarah picked a little poem by Tennyson, which includes reference to the larkspur. Isn't that just lovely? But that took me 4 days because it is on 46 count needle and flax Thornfield. I nearly said Hemingway. So I've cut my last pieces up now for the rest of the labels, which is why I've run out. And this is intense stitching, which is why I had to use the beading needle. But it was fun and I love it. So that is a lot of fun. Nikki's project's always such happy mail coming in the post. So I've managed to keep up with my stitching for the month of May. Sorry guys. And then I told you I ordered something. We ordered this ages ago, and finally the summer box arrived, beautifully packaged with a gorgeous little note in from Drew, Nikki's husband. And inside it was just beautifully presented. So you've got a wide array of these just gorgeous DMC threads, all the colours, all the fun of the fair. And look at that little pouch to keep them in. Look at the carousel. Collect beautiful moments. So they'll live in there. And if I show you, she's given you the little ribbon, a nudge hoop, bowie needles in all the sizes, and this gorgeous mini scissors with the scissor fob on it. I mean, it's stunning. Then inside you've got some cut pieces of beautiful, I think it's Acufactum. It looks like Acufactum, a red spot, a neutral, and this gorgeous fairground fabric. I mean, look. So I'd love to make a little EPP cushion of some sort with that. And then a little bag with the treats, some little, not treats, sorry, it's not treats, it's finishing things. I'm getting carried away because I'd like it to be treats. Some coloured beads, which we had in our Christmas advent box. A little trim, prize every time. And just some little bits of fabric, little bit of lace, some gold thread that I saw a little reel she'd done of her mum spinning the gold thread, putting it on. I mean, everything is just so beautifully done, and a little tiny ribbon. So I don't know what the finishing pieces are for, but I haven't even opened the linen. I'll do it now. This is in the book. So this is by Nikki, the Stitchery Vintage Carnival Sampler. So you can either make a sampler, and inside, look at the fab lolly. Oh my gosh, I just love it so much. And inside you can, I don't know how to do this without sort of showing everything, but all the fun of the Fayre, and it's just exquisitely done. Everything she does is beautiful. So that's a quick flip through of the Vintage Carnival Sampler. It comes on the linen. You can either cut it down and make, you can either make a sampler, or you can cut it down and do the little individual. You could make it into a little dolly quilt, you could make it into a baby quilt, you could do cushions. So there's enough to do the front and the back of the cushions. I think that's what Nikki said. There's going to be an online tutorial with it, and she puts the interface in for you to line it. Yeah, and here's the second piece. I thought that's what she said. If you wanted to cut it into pillows, you've got enough to do the backs. Mini, tiny little embroidery ones. So you can do a tiny cake to like embellish the back of your pillow finishes. It's just fabulous. On this lovely, lovely linen. Now this isn't vintage linen. All her samplers come on this new linen that you can interface, and how to iron on the stabilizer. I mean, they just think of everything. And I know how many months have gone into designing this. Gorgeous. So when I'll get to start it, I do not know. But also, sorry, that was the back. This is the other half of the box was something you can buy separately. This is Sarah's, the Stitchery Sisters, sort of contribution to the box. She did the big top bulletin, which is very like the Strawberry Sunday thing I did last year. So she's got some cross stitch pieces in here, and this ticket, oh, they got a recipe for a beautiful cake. You've got to go and buy this book, guys. They've got a feature on Goose, Stacey Nash Crumb, which I'm sort of working on now. We're crackers for Stacey Nash. They've got A Piece of Heaven by the lady that Vermeer, who does EPP Blueberry Quilt Company. She does amazing English paper piecing finishes. So this is the inspiration for one of the I'd like to use the fabric and try and make a little cushion like that, using the EPP shapes. And I think if you're in the Acufactum club with Willow Cottage Quilting, or with the Stitchery if you're in the UK or Australia or Europe, then you get free access to the online tutorials where they show you how to make the little EPP cushions like that. Oh, there's so much inspiration in here. Old vintage bits of fabric. How to do a slow stitch. But look at this, look at the circus ticket. Oh, isn't that just fun? To cross stitch a circus ticket and to make a little needlebook out of some of the scraps of fabric. I mean, it must take Nikki months to plan these things. And Sarah, sorry, the cross stitch is designed by Sarah, but what a team. They're so fun. And at the end of July, I'm going to a, I think for 2 days, one night overnight stay. Me and Britta are going down for Christmas in July. She's got a whole week event, and some people are going for the whole week. I mean, honestly, that is serious investment, but I'm going to go down for a day for sure and see Nikki and have a Christmas in July project. So yeah, that's kind of on my mind now, Christmas in July. So that's an amazing treat that I ordered many months ago, and it took quite a while to arrive, but then when it comes, it's such a surprise, and I hadn't even opened the linen. So I wanted to share that with you. So that's part of my plans as well. What's next? Quilting. Okay, quilting. So I just thought I'd quickly share this with you. I did look up larkspur, and it was in my language of flowers. And this is what it says. Larkspur means lightness or levity, which is lovely, isn't it? Unless it's purple. Purple larkspur or delphinium means haughtiness, or pink means fickleness. So you can be light, but you could also be bordering on fickle if you've got pink larkspur. So that's what my book of days said. Not my book of days, the language of flowers. Okay, quilting. You know I'm taking part in the Fat Quarter Shop quilt along called Vintage Christmas by Laurie Holt of Be in My Bonnet, which is where I got my book. And I'm taking part in this because I bought the kit from Fat Quarter Shop ages ago, and they're using the Laurie Holt Hometown Holiday Collection and using the new colour combination because we couldn't get our hands on the original fabrics that Laurie designed for this quilt. And this month I did the 4 blocks, and they're beautiful, they really are. The first block was Little White Chapel. So these are 6.5 inches. Isn't it cute? So fiddly. Those courthouse, the chapel steps. Oh man, nearly killed me. Can you see how small those blocks are here? Tiny. You're cutting things 1/8 of an inch. This one is the mistletoe block. And I must thank, last month, only one person spotted this and wrote to me and said, Sian, one of the corners you've put on back to front. Let me tell you. I need to thank Christine Curry because she told me that my holly and ivy block, one of the corners here, I'd put on back to front. So I immediately went off after that comment and unpicked it in the dining room. So please do tell me if there's any mistakes, because sometimes you're so close to things you can't see. So this is the mistletoe block. Look at the gorgeous colours. This is the Merry Mug. And this is the mitten. And you fussy cut the mitten. Well, I fussy cut the mitten. And honestly, this took hours and hours. I think from the cutting right the way through, I reckon that block took me about 4 hours. But isn't it stunning? This quilt, I can't wait to see it. I'm not even halfway through. Where have we got? We've got down to May here. And it's going all the way till September. So I think I've got to do June, haven't I, before? Yeah, they're going to finish a 6 inch. So at the moment, they're all perfectly 6.5 inch, which means my piecing's okay. So that's my quilt. That's my Laurie Holt Vintage Christmas quilt. And I will put a link to this, to the Fat Quarter Shop below, because that's where you can buy the actual thing easily kitted up, you know, with all the right fabrics. You don't need to track everything down. And then the next thing I finished was my Bunny Hill Summer House quilt that I bought the kit for this from in the UK from the Sewing Studio, and they gave me 10% off. And this was the final block 11 or 12. I'm all of a muddle with this. I think it was block 11. Can you see the little strawberries? They're only glued on. I've only appliqued that main first flower and one strawberry. The cat running the bar. Look at the little drinks. I mean, I can't tell you how small these pieces are. And you know I use the spray starch method that Bunny Hill do offer as an option. You can do needle turn or you can do spray starch. And I did a check online, and Joanna Figaro did a little lovely tutorial with Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop on how to do spray starch applique. And it is so easy, and you can get this, those little cups are so tiny, and I used my Karen Buckley templates for the little circles, and I think my circles were so much better for it. They're truly round this time. So now I just need to stitch those down. But I managed to finish all the applique on last month's block, so I'm almost up to date. It won't be long now, and I'll be able to move on to the 4 borders. Let me just show you. So I've just done this, and now the border block, it just gives you a demo on the first 3 loops, and then you copy it. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 months left, and then I'll be able to piece the rows together and put the borders on. Yeah, so it's amazing, isn't it? One little thing each month. And because I must have started this in July last year, then if this is block 11. So yeah, and it feels so easy to do 1 block a month. Yeah, although it does take me a while. It takes me a whole day to trace and cut the fabric templates out. And another day to spray starch, and another day to applique. So that's my quilting. And then in terms of quilting plans, okay, I've been a bit naughty because I just couldn't hold out anymore. Yesterday, UPS delivered my fat quarter shop kit. I caved in and I bought it. I've been looking at this for weeks and I just love it. And I think this is one where there's 2 instructions inside. You can either use the, what do they call it? The paper, right, foundation paper, which I've never done, never used, don't know how to do it. Or you can trust your piecing, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trust my piecing and go with it. So this is called the Americana flag, and inside, now you know I bought a charm pack last month with my Laurie Holt bag. Well, I've just gone mad now and got all of it, enough to start the pieced quilt. Look at the colours, I just love it. And red, white and blue, of course, is, I know it's an American flag, but it's dead British, the colours. So it's kind of like, I love everything American, and that's fine because it kind of goes with our British colour scheme. And look at these fabrics. Oh, they are stunning. So I was super excited when I opened this box, and it even comes in this keepsake box, because now I've got so many fat quarter shop kits, you could get muddled up, but it tells you on the top which ones. So when they're all stacked in your spare room, you kind of know what goes where. So that's that. And I also, while I was at it, because the shipping is expensive, I get the backing at the same time, and I chose not the recommended. I think the recommended was I can't remember, but I loved this one. So I got the writing, the kind of like scroll work on it. I just thought that would be a really cool backing. And then one other thing, I thought, well, if I'm paying all that for shipping, I might as well treat myself to the Liberty Box for 2025. So if you ordered this and you haven't had it, or you don't want to know what's in it, just move on now, fast forward. But I'm going to show you what was in this box because I couldn't believe it. I think it is amazing, fun and incredible value. Because what did I pay for this? $50. And look what's in it. You get, well, I couldn't believe it actually, this really cute Stars and Stripe cutting mat. I mean, these are always so handy to have. A gorgeous little picnic box that I never have one in my house because M&S sell these and I always buy them. But my kids, when they go back to London and empty my fridge of all the leftover food or cake or whatever, they always nick my bag. So now I've got this cute with the lollipops on it. I mean, honestly, this is so sweet. So that was in it, a complete surprise. Laurie Holt charm was in it, which unfortunately I had already bought when I bought the project bag up at the Malvern Quilt Show. No, I didn't get it there, did I? I bought something else at the Malvern Quilt Show that was Laurie. And then inside, the main event is the gleaming quilt pattern with the fat quarter bundle. I mean, look at these. Red, white and blue. Absolutely love them. This is the range. It's called Stars and Stripes Forever by Laurie Whitlock for Riley Blake. Absolutely gorgeous fat quarter bundle, and a superior Pima 100% cotton blue quilting thread. I haven't even taken the plastic off any of this. So that is what was in the Stars and Stitches Liberty box for 2025 from the Fat Quarter Shop. I've put a link down below to Fat Quarter Shop if you want to have a look for that. And funnily enough, in my plans, I've only just properly looked at what was in the Liberty box from 2021. I can't believe I haven't done the project. So this is definitely one of my plans now. Stars and Stripes quilt pattern. This was using the, it did say somewhere what the fabric was. It's gorgeous fabric. It is Land of Liberty by My Mind's Eye for Riley Blake. So this time it was the layer cake version size, you know, the 10 by 10 inch stack of squares. And isn't it gorgeous fabric? I mean, even if you kept some of these little bits for finishing. My Mind's Eye for Riley Blake. There was a beautiful wooden box that I can't show you, but I could show you the picture of it because I've used it. That's the one thing I took straight out. A wooden box saying that inside. I keep all my bits on my desk there. A Aurifil Liberty, all the threads in there. So I'm going to open these and start to, I didn't really want to like use it before, but now I'm like, Sean, you need to start using all your things. Why are you hoarding all these quilt things? Then this amazing little Liberty label set full of the woven labels inside. So I'm definitely going to open those and start to add those to some of my quilts. And more fabric just to finish off the quilt. Probably for the binding, maybe. Just beautiful. So that was my 2021 box. You can see how long I've been collecting and hoarding and crumbs. So I need to start. So that's a quilty plan for sure. And now what's next? Happy Mail. Okay, I did get a gorgeous piece of Happy Mail, apart from the lovely chart that I had from Stacey Milland in Texas. I also had a beautiful card, handmade. I can always count on you to brighten my day. Isn't that so precious? Handmade by Jana. And I had this lovely little note for a lady who watches my Flosstube videos, and she said, thank you for doing them, and I'm sending you this little gift in appreciation. I know you love Laurie Holt fondly. Jana Millen from Ohio in the USA, and she sent me these. I can't wait to open them, because you know when Laurie does traces around her shapes on the interfacing for all of her pieced quilts and her new Americana shapes, that quilt is so stunning, but you can't have it all, can you? And she always uses these pencils, so thank you so much. Very kind, Jana, and I can't wait to open them now. I've been saving them like that so that I could share them with you. So that's that, and on the back of her envelope, gorgeous, gorgeous. Then I have my haul. So first thing I'll share is my Wiggly Fabric of the Month Club, that I get my linen, and this one I get 40 count, and this gorgeous colour is called Harriet. So isn't that lovely? She always has lovely names like Eleanor and Harriet. And so that's my fabric for June. And then I'm in the club with the Stitchery, where you get the AccuFactum fat quarters, 4 fat quarters a month. And this month, wow. So we've had a lot of pinks and reds in the last few months for like Valentine's, etc. And now we're on into the blues, and this is all the quotes by Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. So pretty. And the blue one, look at the birds. And then the sewing themed one, which we had last month with a similar vibe, but with all the pinks and reds, and now it's the blues. Look at the detail. Would be amazing in a little EPP quilt or pincushion. And then your neutral, your blender, which is like a sort of oatmeal-y colour. So they all go together absolutely beautifully. Love them. I really love them. So that's my Acufactum Club. Then I purchased, right. I did show you in my book of days that I treated myself to a little charm from Sue at Millie McBean's, because I saw Laura, the serial starter, on Laura and Brenda. She went to Hobby House and picked one of these up. And so I contacted Sue and asked her if I could get one. And so this little strawberry, I couldn't resist. I just thought it would look so good on the lime green box. So that's my little zipper pull for my fabulous box from Hobby House. Just quickly show you. Some of my beautiful pink precious things in there, including my Gloriana flamingo silk from Britta. And this colourway is just stunning. And I just thought a bright red strawberry on the front, isn't it fab? So there we are, that's ready to take off to a retreat. And in fact, I've got the Peakside Retreat with Beth Twist from Heartstring Samplery the first weekend in July. So I might take my box there with me. I haven't done the homework yet, so I do need to get going. Then another little thing I bought this month that I've never had before is called bullion, because one of the little needle books that I was working on called for bullion to use to wrap around the button. You know, when you tie a loop to thread your button through on a... So I ordered it from Hand and Lock, and it's called bullion. And it looks like this. It's like a necklace. It's really cheap. And you can catch it down round edges, or you can use it to make a little loop, and then you can tie your button through it to make a really nice, you can use like hair bobbles or whatever. But I bought mine at Hand and Lock, which is where I then saw that they were selling the iron-on stickers for my denim jacket. So that was a little tiny little purchase, but I thought it might be useful if ever you make needlebooks and need to have a little loop. Then I ordered something from Kit and Stitcher because, what was the reason? There was something I wanted. I can't remember now. Anyway, there were a couple of charts I picked up while I was there. I got because I love my holiday hoopla finish for Valentine's. So I did treat myself to the St. Patrick's Day one from Kit and Stitcher in the US. Oh, this is one I thought while I'm there, I might as well pick this up because so many people have made this box and it's beautiful. To quote Shakespeare. Then I got the Needleworkers sampler because that was one I was missing, and Kit and Stitcher had it in stock. And then I picked up the board for the Hop Into Spring chart that Brenda Gervais released at Market. And while I was there, I picked up the Chantel's board for one of the, with that needle and thread, Brenda Gervais snowball finishes with the... So yeah, that's, I thought while I'm at it. I also got the Dames of the Needle Union, is it? No, Memphis Blues, the pom-pom trim, which is just dead useful for finishing up some patriotic finishes. And this gorgeous Laurie Holt charm because I just couldn't resist that, because I've got a lot of her scissors in the various colours in my sewing room, and this is on my dining room, on the dining table, and this is a bit different, having a zipper pull, so I couldn't resist that. I just thought it was gorgeous, so I did buy that. Not much else now. One thing I did get was Becky from, remember I told you all about Becky that I met at Portbury, the Willow hair stitching, Willow and hair stitching. She released this exclusive kit at Portbury for all the girls coming over from the States, etc. And anyway, I couldn't get one on the day, but she let me buy one because I went to visit her. So they'll be released generally in a year, but what she did was sent me the, so I bought the Journey from Coast to Coast, the pocket bag, and this is what the kit looks like. Look how beautifully she wrapped it with this gorgeous leap-in hair from Claire O'Neill Artworks. So all the little bits to make this, and the linen to line it with, it looks like a Blackberry Primitives linen. I could be wrong. And then a kindness, a little extra she put in for me, this gorgeous note. I mean, look how beautifully everything's done. Some beautiful red wool, strawberry solid, so that I can make a strawberry, because I didn't have the right red. And then I bought this Notions pouch purse chart when I was in her little shop at Portbury, and she sent me some wool to help me get started on making that up. So yes, so some little happy mails there that came along with my fabulous kits from Becky, and hopefully I'll be meeting Becky this summer when me and Britta get together. It'd be great if we could catch up. Then two other things I got from just random charts. I was inspired for Christmas in July by Moonshine Stitchery, and Phoebe. I always follow her. I absolutely love her floss tubes, the way she spins the wheel, and she does it live. So this was something that she had bought and started, and I just thought it was so beautiful that I don't actually have a Dimensions Gold kit in my whips. I've got a few of their things, but I've never started one. I just thought I'd like to start that, because if I ever did have grandchildren or whatever one day, this would be really sweet. So I love that. And then the other thing I bought, I couldn't resist, was directly from Lila's Studio online shop. I bought Peace on Earth. Now I've got the Summer Quaker in my whip pile, and I just couldn't leave this one there. I just absolutely loved it. So I just printed off the cover page and the thread legend, and that'll go in my project bag, but the rest of it is a PDF so that I can track it online on my phone. Isn't it beautiful? Peace on Earth, Goodwill to Men. It's just so old. So I thought those were two things that I was inspired for Christmas in July, because that's the thing, isn't it? We'll all be doing. And then one other thing, gorgeous card. You've heard me talk about Pauline from So Be Bags before. Pauline sent me this little note when I ordered this. I saw her, sometimes on a Friday, she does photos of what she's about to drop on the weekend. And I just couldn't resist this fabric. It's so sweet and vintage and just gorgeous. And I love her like crochet trim that she puts on the front. She also just threw in this little bag for me, so that if I wanted to put her hands across the sea or something in, I can keep some of the silks in here if I want. So gorgeous. So that was something I bought. And then, interestingly, Pauline's daughter, who's Sarah Steele, is also known as So Be Stitchery. And So Bee Stitchery, she sent me very kindly, she's just started designing, and the first chart that she's designed, and you might have seen this actually on Sarah's Stitchy Spot, a couple of floss tubes have already shown this. I forgot to do it last month, so I'm sorry Sarah, but if you have a look at So Bee Stitchery, that's her logo, and Brenda and Laura showed it. She's redesigned or adapted a sampler by Prudence Bold, 1807, and this is what it looks like, and she's given you a chance to win one of these as a giveaway. So if you would be interested in stitching this one, please comment on what you're stitching on at the moment, let me know what you're working on, and use the number 1 for that. And the other one she's designed herself based on a quote from Jane Austen's Mansfield Park, is her own thoughts. Her own thoughts and reflections habitually were her best companions. So it's a quote from Mansfield Park. So please support Sarah in her new venture of designing charts. And if you'd like to win a copy of this chart, it'll be a PDF that she'll send you. Please use the number 2 after your comments. Then I also couldn't believe this. After 12 months of doing Flosstube, I was hugely excited when I received a parcel, a big package in the post from the Fat Quarter shop, and Kimberly and the team have so kindly sent me some of their cross-stitch charts and quilt charts to share with you as giveaways. So you know I am their biggest fan, and actually probably their biggest customer in Wales. So the first thing they sent me was this chart by Laurie Holt, designed by Laurie Holt, Be In My Bonnet, and this is the Cherry House. Remember I've done the hometown quilt, and after that quilt was done, Laurie did everything in the cross-stitch version as well, and this is number 6 of the 12 blocks. Yeah, so this is Cherry House, isn't it lovely? And so this chart is now, I'm able to offer that as a giveaway. Cherry House cross stitch chart by Laurie Holt. So that would be the number 3. Okay. Then I've also got a number of It's So Emma charts that Kimberly and the team have sent. So this one is a birth sampler. It's cross stitch, and I think it can be adapted for a girl or a boy. And so that'll be number 4. Then this one, Bust a Move, designed by Kim Deal, that you can stitch onto one of the mesh project bags that the Fat Quarter shop sells, or you can buy these in a number of shops. I think they're at Shepherd's Bush. I know that Peakside, Sue's had these in the past at Peakside. So you can stitch the design on that. So I've already lost count of the numbers. 3, 4, that's 5. Then 6 is an option to win both of these, Dahlias and Poppies. So these are by It's So Emma, and they're part of the Seed Packet cross-stitch series. And then number 7 is Springtime Blooms, which has got those lovely bluebirds on. Sweet. And then lastly, we got number 8. And they sent me 4 quilt patterns. They're all fabulous. This one, I thought I might keep this one actually for myself and have a go at stitching it. The Snowdrop quilt pattern, because it's stitched with the Bunny Hill, A Very Sweet Christmas collection, which I just loved. So this is by It's So Emma. These are all available right now in the Fat Quarter shop online. I'll leave a link below. And these 3 charts I'll offer as giveaway number 8. So one is Cider Season, which is quite autumnal. One is the Hamptons, which is all blue and white. And then this one is the Riverside quilt pattern, which is stitched in Kindness by Deb Strain. Just beautiful. So yeah, those are the numbers to leave behind in your comments if you want to win any of those. So thank you so much to Kimberly and the team at Fat Quarter Shop for sharing those with us. And then last time, remember I had this bag that I bought as an extra for one of you to have, and I did the random comment picker before this before I press go. And the winner of this one is Linda McGrew, 3385. So Linda McGrew, if you contact me at periwinklestitcher@gmail.com and get in touch with me, I will forward this on to you, and I'll ship anywhere. So thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope I haven't left anything out. It's almost too much to write it all down, what I had to share. But I hope you're well, and I hope you're getting some time to stitch all the things. And I'll be back in a month to share with you more on our cross-stitching journey. Take care, everyone. Bye.